Welcome to your automated budget planner. Let's get started by adjusting the sheet size based on the device you're using. In this page, you'll see additional instructions in certain areas of the sheet for easy access. First, go to the Annual Plan tab and select the start date by typing it in or double-clicking the section to choose the start date. I'll select January 1st as an example, and you will see it update in the year overview. Next, list the name of the persons involved in this budget sheet. This budget sheet can work with only one person or two persons. Then you will put in each person's birth date. You will see why later on in the sheet. Now, let's enter your bank accounts for each category. This helps you track where your income is deposited, where your bills are paid from, and where your savings are held. Then, input your starting amount, which is the balance you had at the beginning of the month. If you're unsure, you can leave it at $0. As you can see here, the total in the starting amount matches what is in cell M27. What you will also see is the starting amount already being allocated for both Kim and John. The joint checking will always be divided by two persons. In this case, John has $200 plus half of the joint account, which will give him $1,200. Now enter your income details. Title is your job name or income source. Budget is how much you make a month from this income source. Starting month is the date that you started receiving income. You'll see that the data aligns correctly as you input it on the right. Ending month is the date that you stop receiving this income source. It is optional, and you can leave it blank. If this is a one-person budget plan, you can leave it blank, and it will automatically assign itself to the first person, which is Kim, or you could choose a different person, which will be John. If you choose both, then it will divide the income between each person. On the far right, you'll see how much you make per income source, how much each person makes for the year, and also the total combined amount. Total left over from previous month is going to tell you the amount that trickles over into the next month from the prior month, and the monthly starting amount is the amount you are starting each month with after you have received your income. Now let's enter your bills the same way. Your budget status helps track whether you're staying within budget. For example, if I change my car note to $30,000 per month, the sheet will indicate that I need to adjust my budget for that specific month because I no longer have enough funds to cover expenses. The goal is to keep the status green, meaning you're within budget. I've already filled in my bills, subscriptions, and expenses, and the same concept applies to each section. Now, let's move to the debt section. Here, input your debt account title, the start date of your payoff plan, the end date of your payoff plan, the credit limit, your starting balance, the minimum payment, the interest rate as a percentage, and your choice amount. This gives you the option to play around with numbers and see what will happen if you give your desired amount each month. Scrolling up, you'll see detailed calculations. Total minimum due, which is the minimum payment plus interest rate. The monthly payoff goal, and that is how much to pay to meet your target payoff date. The utilization rate for each card, and amount needed to reach 30% utilization. You have the option to see your calculations continue until you meet your goal, or you can have it end by the payoff date that you selected. Here is a drop-down that lists different options that you can choose to see what works best for your budget. If you choose to pay only the total minimum due, the sheet will indicate whether you'll meet your debt goals by year end. The best strategy is to select realistic payments, which ensures that you reach your payoff goal on time. Debt status. This section tells you whether you're on track to pay off your debt by the end of the year, based on the option you selected in the drop-down menu. Goal status versus budget status. Budget status alerts you if you've gone into the negative for the month, i.e., spent more than you planned. Goal status evaluates whether you're staying on track each month to meet your long-term savings or payoff goals. Payments versus balances. In this grid is going to show you your payments that you made each month for the whole year. The balance section is going to show you how your debt balance is going to flow for the whole year. It is good to look at as a reference to make sure you're on track. Next, let's set up your savings goals. The same process applies. This section calculates how many months you have left based on your selected start and end dates. It also tells you how much you need to contribute each month to reach your goal. The remaining amount is the amount you still need to save or pay off, based on your starting balance and your overall target. The calculations will stop once the goal is met, and if the total left over is negative. Next up, we have retirement. There is a calculator that you can play around with to see how much you need to put in annually to reach your goals. First, I'm going to put in the amount I want to have in order to retire. Then I'm going to put in how much I currently have in retirement, which is my current value. Then I'll put in the percentage I expect in return annually. Next, I'll put in the year I want to retire. Then finally, I'll put in my choice amount. Once that's completed, you can choose goal payments or choice amounts in the drop-down to see your age of retirement. Now that I have an idea of what I need to do in order to retire on time, I'm going to scroll down and start the calculations. First, put the retirement account title. Next, you'll put in the day you want to start making payments to your retirement this year. And if you have an end date this year, you can put it, but it is optional. Then the overall value for the account. This means how much you have in the account right now. Next, you will add in your starting amount or contribution for this year. Next, type in your annual goal. After that, you will put in the percentage your employer will be matching. Next is the percentage that you will be receiving in return every year. And finally, your trusty choice payments. Based off of what you put below, you'll see how much years you have left, how much you should put in a month to reach your annual goal, how much your employer should be matching, what your projected value of this account should be by your retirement year, and the actual value based off of the calculations to the right. On the far right, the total save is what you have put in this year, but the annual amount is going to tell you the amount you put in, plus the employer match. This last section is going to tell us a synopsis of this whole budget plan individually, and also, if you want to take notes and have a discussion about this, there are sections for note-taking here. If you ever want to see a specific month immediately, this section is great for that. Just choose the month in the drop-down, and the information you need will populate. Once you're happy with your annual plan, head over to the Automated Budget Template tab. Here, you can select any month, and the sheet will automatically pull the correct data for you. No manual work needed. As a bonus, you'll see personalized messages each month to keep you motivated on your journey to financial stability and freedom. And hey, if today happens to be John's birthday, the sheet even gives him a special shout-out. As you can see, whenever I change the month, the sheet automatically updates. It also states the bills that are due today. To get started, let's input our current starting amount for each account. The annual plan amount is there for reference to see what we should be starting the month with, based on the plan we set earlier. The weekly pay analysis is the day that you want to analyze the income coming in for the week. As we scroll down to the income overview, we see there's also another bonus message here to encourage you. The annual plan minimal income is here as a reference to let you know the minimum amount you need to make this month. This budget shows you the monthly view as well as the weekly view. Every month, you'll choose the income sources paying you, the date that you are getting paid, and the amount you were expecting to make. When you get paid, you'll put the amount under actual. This shows you the difference between what you were expecting to make and what you actually made. The weekly income analysis shows the dates that you had selected. From the weekly pay analysis, for example, if I choose Wednesday, it will show me each Wednesday of the month. And when I put in my income, it will show me which weeks I get paid. If the income is not in the right month, it will turn red as an indicator for you to update. Now let's scroll down to the budget. The budget automatically pulls the information from the plan, and due date also updates according to the month that it is in. Unlike the income section, we apply what we actually spent from the Transactions tab, where you will put in the information and it will automatically update in the budget. Okay, great. so it automatically updated with what I actually spent from the Transactions tab. However, I spent more than my budget, and it's showing you that I have a negative indifference, which can affect me when I want to pay for something else in the future. If I go to my status, I see that it is now current because I paid my bill. And weekly budget is going to show me each week that my bills are due, and the same applies for the weekly actual section. The same concept applies for each section, so as we go to the debt section, you'll see what you have left to spend based off of your budget and the amount that you actually have left to spend. There are also payment options, like in the Annual tab, that will give you the flexibility to choose your form of payment. Just like in the Annual plan, you can choose if you want your payments to continue regardless of the payoff date, or if you wanted to end by the payoff date. All the information here is from the Annual plan. The only information that you can change are the ones that are highlighted yellow. It will still calculate even if you don't change it, but if you feel as if the information is wrong, then you can change it. The actual starting balance is going to show you the balance you are starting this month with, and the difference between your actual amount and what you plan to have. The difference will tell you if you need to add some more money to get back on track with your goals. The same applies with the ending month balance. This information is the same on the Annual plan and will update if you make any changes to this section. You can put a new choice payment at any time. The budget and actual realistic calculator is going to automatically allocate based off of how much you have left in your budget and how much you actually have left to spend. Some key features are, if it is paid off, the title will turn green. If the start date has not come yet, then it will turn orange. If the payoff date is today, it will turn green, and if due date has passed, then it will be red. The savings section is the exact same. The only difference is the savings payment checkboxes. This gives you the option to decide if you want to pay once a month or weekly. The retirement section runs the exact same way as the savings section. As a reminder, anything highlighted yellow can be changed, however it is not necessary to change. The difference between the debt section and the savings and retirement section is that with debt you are trying to get to zero ending balance, and with savings and retirement, you're trying to get to your target balance or goal. Great. So as you can see, everything here is already embedded for you. All you have to do is just make sure the information is still accurate. The financial strategy overview is going to tell you the flow of your income and bills week by week. This view will help you to see if you're going to be going into negative a specific week or if you have enough to cover your bills. Rather than it only being a month's view, you're able to see the specifics. We also have the individual person's flow of income and bills as well. If you prefer a specific overview, then I have monthly and weekly income at a glance that will give you a standard overview of your month, either by week or by category. This is the bank view where you have the option to allocate money to specific banks. On the Annual plan, you'll see a drop-down section where if you choose general categories, you can allocate the whole category to specific banks. But if you like things a little bit more specific, then choose specific categories, and you'll be able to select which categories go to which accounts. Make sure you don't duplicate under different accounts to ensure accuracy in calculations. Here you can see it updated accurately. If you don't want to allocate your funds, there are embedded calculations here regardless of if you decide to use the drop-down function. If you want to know what that is, please refer to the Directions tab for more information. Also, if you decide to use this feature, make sure to complete it for each bank, or it will reflect 0 in the accounts. We have a 50-20-30 calculator, where, like I said before, you don't have to specify because it's already being calculated, but you do have the option to choose your own needs, want, and savings, and it will show on the pie chart on this page. It also reflects on the automated budget template. The one on the Annual plan is for the year as a whole, while the automated budget template shows only the month. If you want this plan to be more flexible, you can change the percentages for your needs, wants, and savings. You can choose the view you want to see, whether is what the Annual plan is saying for this month, your current budget, and what you actually spent. Lastly, if you want to add an extra personal touch to your budget plan, You can change the titles to each section here. So if you're an income boss, then feel free to change it to this. Thank you so much for following along in the tutorial. I hope you have a great budgeting session and a great financial year. Feel free to ask any questions, recommend a friend, and give me a review. It really helps. Later for now, and happy budgeting.